One.
Hi, and welcome to the
Woman's Cave.
Yep, the
Slash-
Woman's Cave. Yeah, no, because I'm still on the Ladies Tale podcast from the last interview. So I was about to say the Woman's Tale podcast of ladies. And then I was like, yeah, no.
Do you not even know your show?
And I was want to add writing class at the end, so I get
Wow, you got all of
the
them.
Woman's Tale writing progress of ladies. No, anyway, welcome to the Woman's Cave.
Sorry, y'all know how we are on the
I'm
show.
so sorry. I'm not awake yet. And
How are you
so
not
late.
awake? It's 5. Anyway, I'm Jane.
I'm claiming it. And I will not, oh my goodness, remember to introduce to the high five social distance style. Because, stuff is still out here. And, I think even when the pandemic is over for real, I'm the people like shake my hand. I'm going to be like, but germs.
But germs. I think that's how it's going to end up being. No, I think now we're just going to be like, how about we awkwardly stare at each other and just do a nod in agreement. All right, anyway, it doesn't matter. So we wrote literary life guides and pop poetry. Yes, y'all. Sometimes we have some wise things to say.
Or sometimes it's our co-authors.
It's probably just stuff. Okay, sure. Claim whatever you want.
I'm going to claim it and blame it on us.
Claim it and blame it. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I would meet a memoir in verse. Whittles, Debt Series, and
Foreign Coffee.
All available when you get your audiobooks. But if y'all just want to see the other 17 books and one of my favorite ones, And I Thought I Did My Journey Alone, you can go to www.andithoughtLadies.com. But y'all not here to hear about us.
You're here to hear from our wonderful guests.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm so glad to talk to you ladies. My name's Doreen Mitchum. I live in Seattle. I've been an arts program manager for about 21 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm also an artist. I'm a Bison. I went to graduate school at Howard University for film. And I write as well. So, but I'm not nearly as prolific as you guys.
I don't think
you're probably, it's probably better quality instead of us. We have quantity.
Sometimes, yeah. Anyway, so I have a question. So how did you know you were interested in the arts in general? And then second, did your love of writing come before your love of all art, or did it come after?
I think writing came after visual art. And I remember the moment I thought, oh, I want to be an artist. I want to draw things. I was in, how old are you when you first go to school?
Depending, 4 or 5.
Anyway, that's how old I was. And I walked into the schoolroom for my half day of kindergarten or whatever. And you know how in the old, you guys probably had to look at an old movie to see what it looks like, but old-fashioned classrooms, and they would have the pictures on top above the alphabet. And they were beautiful pictures in color. And I was just entranced. And I just said, I'm gonna do that. So I've kind of been doing that ever since. And, every Christmas and birthday, I get art stuff. And yeah, so I've been to many different classes over the years. But when I got to college, the folks were like, well, art isn't a real thing. So you have to pick something else. So that's kind of what happened.
Well, I understand that.
I think a lot of creators, we run up against that. What is one of the ways that you are working to change that?
I wasn't able to change it. I mean, I've always kept my own practice. And like I said, I've been in art classes in schools, Columbus, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Michigan, here in Seattle. I just keep up as my own private practice, I guess you would say. And the same with the writing. The writing came shortly after the drawing, when I started drawing in the lovely, expensive picture books my mother would give for us. And that also has been intermittent but consistent, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. So that's exactly what I was talking about, is you kept your dream alive no matter right. You're like, okay, I have to do my conventional thing, but you kept your eye on being artistic. Winona?
So you had mentioned before what your job it was, and that you've been in an arts program for 20 some years. So you've been able to assist many other people in the arts. Can you tell us a bit about what it takes to be that person who is the advocate for the arts and for artists?
I guess just an understanding of the the trials and tribulations that a creative goes through. Absolutely. And encouraging people to, that they haven't lost if they have to take a regular job. And I guess that's just it. And being very encouraging, and I love to give advice. So, that's always something. And somebody calls in a panic, I've developed skills over the years to be able to help them, walk them through that, and sometimes it's simply a case, well, if it was me, what I would do is. So, and obviously that comes with time. So as I got older, I saw more, I heard more stories, I saw more people go through things. So I had more advice to offer people. And so to that point, I think I've been helpful to some people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah. 20 some years as an arts program manager, you're definitely helpful to somebody. So why do you feel art is important to the community?
It's like glue. It's like glue, especially now, and not specifically the pandemic, but also the pandemic. People are very isolated. There's just not the same kind of community there was when I was growing up, when I was coming up. And so it's a two-edged sword. It's like on one hand, I remember older people telling me when I was young that segregation wasn't 100% a bad thing, because we have very tight communities. All of our professionals could work and not deal with that extra burden of being in kind of like a hostile environment. And, the community was just very tight. The dollar circulated in the Black community, 10 times before it left. So there were all those things happening that were supportive of the individuals in the community. And now with that gone, I feel like sometimes those supports aren't there. So I guess the job for us is to be able to create that kind of thing while being enmeshed in a mainstream community.
So what is some advice that you would give up and coming artists or writers as they're trying to come into their own in their own writing or artistry? Yep, that's the word.
You gonna go with artistry?
I think.
All right.
I don't know if it'd be relevant to millennials. Y'all like foreigners to me. I didn't have kids, right? And I don't think I know anyone under 40. So it's really hard for me to get in your heads and understand, your aesthetics and, that kind of thing. But for the main part, I would say, and I would say this to anybody really, find out who you are, what really is your motivating factor and your aesthetic and why you think the things you do and stuff. And I feel like a lot of it is chasing notoriety or chasing celebrity or chasing whatever, rather than, sitting with yourself and just figuring out what that is and just understanding that it's important because it is. It's me. I'm important because I'm here, because it's me. Now, if other people care to take that on, great. If not, it's still okay. And I don't know, I think of I'm a big lover of the story of ancestors. And we don't know all of them, and we might not have all their names and faces. Some of us are lucky. I know some of mine, but just to consider the lives they went through. And that, I love that saying. What's that saying? I am because they were, or something like that. I'm here because they endured like unspeakable hardship and tragedy and so forth, and I get to be here. Like my Angela said, we've been paid for. So I'm so happy to be here. And no matter anybody else likes it or not, it's like, I'm here, I made it, we won. Just being here means you won.
Absolutely, that is so
true.
That's so true. Where can people find some of your art and some of your writing? And Winona, you have one question?
I have one question before we leave out with our final question. Is what type of art do you dabble in and enjoy?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Girl, I
can't believe I forgot to ask that question. Way to ask that question, Winona. I thought.
Changes. It seems like every 5 years I'm into something new. So I started off just, drawing, doodling, sketching, art schools type stuff. Then I think more recently, I say in this century, in this millennium, I've worked in hot glass, in cast glass, which is really interesting, and I kind of like it, but it's really expensive, and it doesn't have that not blowing. I don't blow glass. They do cast glass. Yeah. It doesn't have, I want to say flexibility, but that's a given. It's like there's no room for, this is going to sound silly, but there's no room for universe to help in. It's all you have to decide everything from A to Z, and it's going to be like this, like that. There's no wiggle room. There's no movement, I guess. So there's a couple genius glass artists who get that effect from glass, but I'm not one of them. So if I can find that, actually the Tacoma Glass Museum has amazing shows. So if you're interested in seeing like what really like amazing glass artists, that's a good place to check. So then I started working in caustic, which, I kind of knew about it, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then on my first trip to Egypt, well, I went every time, but at the Cairo Museum, they actually have some encaustic paintings that were done, after, everybody couldn't get mummified. So it was usually, the middle class and the high class people would have their sarcophagus, but instead of a death mask, like the royals would get, they would have a life painting of them in encaustic, and 3,000 years ago, and they looked like they were done, last week. It was amazing to me. So then I started working in encaustic, and I do like that because there is room for things to happen and to get that. I mean, hot wax is like honey and it smells good. I mean, it's just so much fun to work with. So I do that. And I do, right now I'm doing fluid art with acrylic, which is real fun because there's some chemical kind of things, technique wise, that you use. And so you get to watch it develop, just like, you remember the old Polaroids where you would take it and then you would look and you would watch it develop. It's kind of like that, you start off the process and it kind of develops and you can kind of channel it, but it's like, not like it's going to be this, this, and this, because you don't know. You get surprised too. It's spontaneous. You kind of have to get in the flow and work with it as it's happening. So that's real fun. So I'm kind of doing that now.
Wow. Okay. I love your art journey. First of all, like your art journey is a thing of beauty. Like it is literally a journey.
I think that's the name of your coffee table book.
Yes, I feel like that's what it is. Journey. My art journey. Like I feel like that is and we're gonna be like seeing that scene. Like I feel like it's coming. It's coming.
There might be something coming. What's see. It might be something coming.
See? What did we say? What did we say? We can always feel a writer and we can feel the publications coming.
Yeah.
You want to ask that final question?
Yes, I will. Where can you find out more about you and your art? Yeah, I was just so into the art journey and I forgot
all about that question.
Oh goodness. Well, you know why I said that about, just do it for you. And about being a boomer brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a website.
Well, that's okay.
I don't have any social media.
That's all right.
I do have a Facebook, but a friend made it for me about 8 years ago, and I've been on it like 5 times. Don't have anything right now, but I am looking towards a change in my schedule, and I will have more time to devote to that. So I am looking at putting together my website. I have my artwork, like I have pictures of it, digital pictures of it, but they're not anywhere specific. I do show, currently I'm showing out of Onyx Gallery in Seattle. It's in the Pacific Place mall downtown. And Onyx is the gallery specifically for African-American Northwest artists. And they may have, I don't know if they have any of my things on there, but I'm in the current Renaissance show, which is super, it's gonna be beautiful. So I do show there. But yeah, I'm working on this. I tell you what, y'all be the first ones I tell when I get a live site with my art.
Oh, and we will be excited to announce it to our audience. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your art journey with us. Like,
I have enjoyed it immensely. I feel like I have been on such a journey. I could retire from the creative world.
I know. I feel like when she said Cairo, I mean, yes, okay, I've done it all. I've done it all. Thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it. I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Thank you for having me.
Your ladies are doing at www.innerdarkladies.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the bottom of the page to see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them also. And just thank you for that in advance. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Will Nona
and Jay. Bye bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.